Guys, welcome back. Today we are cutting a corset top. These are the measurements required. So we'll start by taking our vertical measurements. The first point I'll take is the distance between my shoulder to my bust point, which is 10.5 inches. I'll take that and I'll rule a straight line across. So this is my bust point. The next measurement is my under bust line, which is 13 inches. I'll also rule a straight line across, and the last line is my waistline, which is 17 inches. I'll rule a straight line across. So what I'll do next is to go up by 2 inches from my bust point, and this is going to be my chest line. I'll rule a straight line across. So I'll take my shoulder measurement divided by 2, and on my chest line I'll take my round armhole measurement divided by 2. Also on the chest line I'll indicate the point, and then I'll connect both points together with a straight line. On the straight line, I'll measure what I have on that line, and I'll mark the middle point of what I have. And from that middle point, I'll go in towards my neckline. I'll go in by 1/4 inch, just like this. And on my chest line, I'll take my bust measurement divided by 4 on my chest line, and then I'll connect the 3 dots together. On the neckline, you can just do any type of neckline you want. We don't need it for this tutorial. What I'll do next is to take my nipple to nipple measurements on my bust point, on my UBL, and on my waistline, and I'll connect with a straight line. On my bust point, I'll come down by 1 inch, and on my waistline, I'll take 1/2 inch on one side and 1/2 inch on the other side, and then I'll take in my dart. On the shoulder area, I'll measure what I have on the shoulder. What I have is 4 inches. I'll divide it by 2, so I'll indicate it just like this. So I'll connect the middle point of that shoulder to meet my bust point. So what I'll do next is to measure the distance between my bust point and my under bust. So what I have here is 2.5 inches. So what I'll do is to place my tape on my bust point like this, and then I'll measure 2.5 inches around, just to create a circle like I'm doing. So make sure your tape is on your bust point, don't move it, and be very careful while doing this. So I've created my circle. I'm using a black marker so that you guys can understand what I'm doing. So on my dart on the under bust line, I'll take in 1/2 inch on both sides like this. I'll take 1/2 inch here, and I forget about the dart that we already have. I'll take another 1/2 inch here, and then I'll connect to meet the down part like this. So what I'll do next is to use my ruler to connect to meet the bust point. That's the sharp edge that we have on our dart. So I'll use my ruler to curve it like this so that everything can align. So I'll measure the dart that we have on our under bust line, and what I have is 1.5 inches. So I'll share the 1.5 inch into two. I'll take half inch on the line towards my neckline, and I'll take 1 inch on the line towards my armhole line. You can see the two dots there. So I'll connect the lines to meet my bust point just like I'm doing. So please watch me closely in case you don't understand what I am saying. So I'll just blend every other part together. On my chest line, I'll come down by half an inch, and then I'll go inward by another half an inch, and I'll roll into a straight line. So on the darts, on these two lines, I'll go out from those two lines by half an inch. So I'll go out on this side by half an inch. I'll also go out on this side by half an inch, and I'll connect to meet the bust point just like this. So these new two lines are the ones we are going to use. We are not making use of the old ones anymore. So what I'll do next is to connect from that new line. I'll connect to meet my chest line, that is my neckline. I'll connect with my ruler like this. I'll also connect from my chest line to meet my under bust line with my ruler. On my armhole line, that tiny line there, I'll measure what I have there. I'll divide it by 2 and I'll indicate it. From that point, I had 1 inch, so I measured half an inch. So I'll come down by half an inch also. So what I'll do is to rule a straight line on that half an inch, and I'll connect from our new line same way we did for the other side. I'll connect to meet the line that I just ruled. So that line is our new armhole line. We are no longer making use of the old armhole line. I'll connect from the armhole line to meet the under bust line just like this. So this corset top is a 3-part corset top, so we are going to cut the upper part out. So from my armhole line, I'll come down by 2 inches and I'll mark that. I'll come to the middle point. I'll mark 2.5 inches on the middle point, and on the side I'll mark 2 inches just like I did for the other side, but the middle point is 2.5 inches. And after doing that, I'll connect all my dots together. So this is what we have. What I'll do next is to start placing my measurements. So on my chest line, I'll take my bust measurement divided by 4, and then I'll measure my darts, the darts in between, whatever I have there, which is 2 inches. I'll replace it, and then I'll add 1.5 inches for seam allowance. Remember, we are no longer using the old armhole, we are using this new one. Then on my waistline also, I'll take my waist measurement divided by 4. I'll measure out my darts, I'll replace it, and then I'll add 1.5 inches for seam allowance, and then I'll connect my lines. After doing that, I'll cut. So what I'll do next is to cut out the upper part of this corset. That's the part that we came down with the other time. I'll cut it out and then I will label it so that I will not mix everything up. So I'll label this as number 2 and this as number 3. The 2 on the upper part, I'm going to gum them together so that when I'm cutting, I'm going to cut out just one piece. So I'll use my masking tape to just hold it down, and I'll place it on a new pattern paper and I'll trace out what I have. So these are all the patterns that we have and we need for the front pattern of our corset top. So let's head over to work on the back pattern. So we are going to use our front pattern to cut out our back pattern, but let's label it first. That's our side front and this is our center front. So this is a fresh pattern paper. What I'll do is to place my side front. I'll make sure that the length is the same. I'll pin it down. So I'm doing this because it's very easy and I don't want to go through the process of drafting out another basic bodice. So this is the easiest way that I know how to do this. After pinning my side front down, I'll take 1 inch and I will indicate it. This 1 inch is going to serve as my dart. So from that 1 inch, I'm going to place my center front. So there is 1 inch gap between the center front and the side front. I'll also pin it down. So I'll go ahead and trace out what I have on my front pattern. I'll trace it out on this new pattern paper. So if you want to add a zip to your top, you can go ahead and put your zip allowance. I'm using 1.5 inches. I'm not going to add a zipper to my top. I'm just doing this for those of you that would want to add a zip to your top. So I took 1.5 inches. I'll also connect like this. So I'll take half an inch from the down part and I'll take another half inch from the upper part and I'll connect to meet the middle point like this. So I'll go ahead and remove my pins. On my neck area, I'll come down by 1 inch because I don't want the back of my top to be straight. I'll slant to meet the other end. So what I'll do next is to take in my dart. So I'll take my nipple to nipple measurement and I'll take half an inch on one side and half an inch on the other side and I'll connect to meet my neckline just like this, and after doing that I will cut. So after cutting out one part of the dart, I'm going to close the dart just like this, so that when I'm cutting out my fabric, I'm just going to cut one piece of, that's two pieces of fabric for the back. I've already taken my dart, I'll pin it down, and that is it for the back part of this top. And then I'm going to cut out this zipper allowance, because like I said, I don't want to add a zip to this top, I want to add loops. So I'll cut it out. I'll probably reduce the back of this top because I want to add loops. So if you want a zipper for your top, you can leave the zipper allowance. If you don't want it, you can as well cut it out. So these are the patterns that we need for this tutorial. I hope it was helpful. I hope you learned one or two from this video. Please stay tuned for the sewing version of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please like this video so that others can see it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.